see how she moves. Hey everyone, it's Ben Hard here, and in today's video we're going to be going over a 2022 Ford Bronco Big Bend that has been modified with some pretty cool accessories. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Large Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with this Bronco. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Let's get into the video. So under the hood we have a turbocharged 1.5 liter 3-cylinder that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 25 around town and then 28 on the highway, with power outputs being 181 horsepower and then 190 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Bronco Big Bend. So first off, you guys can see the hood is raised on either side, just like what you have on a bunch of Ford's products actually. And then coming down below, we've got the projector bulbs with the LED accent light. We've got the Bronco logo there in the center. And this one's finished in Area 51, as you guys can see. And you can see the whole bottom portion of the bumper definitely looks aggressive. And you know, for being a small little SUV, this thing looks pretty cool from a front end perspective. So coming around the side here, we've got two 45mm tires wrapped around 17-inch wheels in the front and in the rear as well. This is the first aftermarket goodie on the Bronco. And let me tell you, this just completely transforms it. Looks so much cooler with these tires. Yeah, I think they just nailed it. And the wheels just match already. And you can see just how aggressive those tires are. This also has a lift. I believe it's about a 2-inch lift for the Bronco Sport, and it definitely helps out quite a bit with the overall stance. You guys can see the fender flares here on the side, Big Bend logo, and then also all the plastic matches. We've got the rails there at the top, and here's your full side view. And again, just look how cool this looks with the lift and everything. Definitely a lot more aggressive. And then here's a quick look at everything in the rear. And if you guys are wondering, if you happen to own a Maverick, this lift kit is also available for the Maverick as well. It's through Ford, pretty much. And so, yeah, you could do this on the Bronco Sport like this, or you could do it on the Maverick as well if you want to lift that. Now here's our key fob for the Bronco Sport. You guys can see Bronco logo on the back. We've got our unlock, lock, and then the opening here for the rear. Press that twice, basically unlocks it. You can do the rest of the work yourself. So notice you have door and then glass, because you can just pop the window if you want. But anyways, it's hydraulic. And then you guys can see back here, we've got, this can double as like a little storage thing, but it's also a cargo cover as well. And then look at the patterning here. And then spare tire just underneath, which is definitely nice. Storage space back here is pretty good. You got the little light button right there, but when you're all done with this, just lower it down. Pretty simple. Now let's finish things up here with the rear. So first off, you guys can see the LED taillights here look pretty cool. Got the Bronco Sport logo here on the back with the backup camera down below. Receiver hitch as well. And the last thing I want to mention before we pop inside is this Bronco is missing one more accessory they're going to add in the near future, which is a light bar, which will make it look even cooler. Now here's the door panel in the rear. First off, got some padding right here to rest your arm, the window control, and then you guys can see the coloration and everything looks really cool. And here are the seats. So they're cloth. They're just a bunch of different textured versions of cloth basically on the seats themselves. And then popping in, legroom, it's actually solid, and then also tons of headroom, like tons and tons of headroom. You got the vents right down here. You got a couple of USBs as well. I guess this here in the center actually isn't. So like you've got like cloth here, cloth there, and then different type of cloth up here, and you have like vinyl here in the center. So it's like a million different types of material here in the interior. Definitely interesting. Let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see here with the padding, and then you've got your door handle. Blind spot monitoring for the mirrors, all of your window controls right there, and then you can see the seats here at the front, again with all of the cloth trim all the way down. The seats are manually adjustable. There's the pedals. You got the double release for the hood. You've got the light controls right there. Steering wheel is manually adjustable, and there's remote look before you pop in. Now here is the steering wheel with the Big Bends. Pretty basic from a material standpoint. Controls for the center, phone controls, voice command controls, volume controls on the other side. It does have adaptive cruise control and steering assistance. Turn signal stock, windshield wiper stock, and there's the steering wheel. Now here is the center gauge clutch. You got the screen there at the top, which you can scroll through a few different menus to see different bits of information on the vehicle. Like we can see the trip computer right now with the current average fuel economy, but I mean it's not accurate because this Bronco Sport rather doesn't have a ton of miles on it. You got all the other gauges aside from that, and then we do have the GOAT modes, which you can go into. We've got normal, eco, sport, slippery, and we have our sand modes for all the different drive modes. Here is the center display. First off, we pop it in reverse. You got a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel. You got the zoom function on that as well. And resolution on the camera is really good. As for the rest of the infotainment system, response time on the screen is great. As you guys can see, really easy to use, and yeah, that's all. We've got analog controls here for the infotainment system, and then the auto stop start if you can turn that off. Some storage space right here with the engine stop start. Down below we've got our single zone climate control, and then you guys can see some extra storage down here with some charging ports. Couple cup holders. We've got our shifter here for the 8-speed automatic. Got your parking brake, your auto hold, the GOAT mode select, and then you guys can see here with the vinyl for the center console. And opening that up, and then we've got the glove box, and I like the texture on the dash. You guys can kind of see that whole setup, and then also, again, tons of headroom. Like if you're a tall person, this is a great vehicle for you. And then manual mirror dimmer setup. So here's our window sticker for the Bronco Sports. Again, 2022 Big Bend. Feel free to freeze the frame if you can read all the standard equipment. I know it's kind of hard to see because of the glare. Let me open up the door so you guys can see a little bit better. And then the optional equipment on this particular one, if it wants to focus, probably doesn't. So anyway, it's not going to waste too much time. $32,280 is the total MSRP. Now that is before the lift and the tires and everything else has been added to this. So understand the actual final price in this will be higher than that. Let's go over visibility before we set off. Here's your visibility over the hood. Both the mirrors, which do have blind spot monitoring. And throughout the rest of the rear. And, well, let's set off. Okay, so setting off here in the Bronco Big Bend with the lift and the tires. First off, this definitely does feel a little bit higher up than a regular Bronco Sport. So you definitely do feel, again, like you're a little bit higher off the ground, which is definitely a big positive. That is a big line of traffic, so we're turning the other way, folks. Anyways, getting up and moving, definitely good. We're actually going to pop into the sport mode. So it's over in the sport mode. I want to see if this thing can move. I know some of you might be concerned, right? Especially with the 3-cylinder, right? You're going to be like, man, can this thing even move? Especially if you lift it. Is it going to have any pep in its step? And you know what? We will discover that shortly in today's video. Got to check both sides. Good to go. And, well, see how she moves. Acceleration's fine. I mean, if you do want more power, right, they obviously offer the turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, which has quite a bit more power. This is enough, but I could see some people wanting more. So yeah, just get a Bronco with the 2-liter and you'll have more than enough power. Or again, like I said, you can get this on a Maverick, so just do the Maverick with the 2-liter. But anyways, ride quality is great. Definitely, the thing that's nice about adding, more aggressive tires is they help soak up bumps a little bit better, because, right, instead of just going straight from the tire to the wheel when you have like no sidewall, when you have quite a bit of sidewall, which off-road tires have, there's a little bit of that absorption that happens, which is definitely a big positive, right? And that's kind of what this does here. So continuing along here in the Bronco Sport, yeah, I feel like it's more than torquey enough to move. And I love how this drives. The lift hasn't ruined it at all. It doesn't drive stiff or anything like that. Yeah, it did not ruin the ride quality. That's what I have to, I definitely have to say that. The lift didn't run it. It's still a really good driving vehicle. And I guess another positive is because like a lot of, more people are kind of understanding what the real Bronco is, because there's been more out on the road. But still, because this is lifted and everything, with the aggressive tires, some people might mistake this for the big Bronco, right? So we got some big Bronco energy. That's what we're in. BBE, Big Bronco Energy. That's what this has. That's what we'll call this package, the BBE package. Sometimes I think my jokes are funny. Anyways, I guess that I'll just sum things up while I wait here. Exterior wise, I think it looks great with the lift and the tires and everything. It just definitely makes this a whole lot more aggressive. I think it's worth it just from an exterior aesthetics perspective, and it's more practical, right? It has more ground clearance, so if you do any sort of off-roading, this is going to be better from an off-road perspective, and it's going to do better in the winter. Everything's going to be better from that perspective. And it doesn't run anything, still drives great. So I don't see a downside of this package. So yeah, if you get a Bronco Sport, lift it, do it now. That's going to sum things up for our video on this 2022 Ford Bronco Sport Big Bend. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Larry Miller Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with the Bronco Sport. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see all of you in the next video.